howdy race fans. Well, you know, it's that time when I sit down in this chair and talk a little bit about racing. Howdy race fans, I am StockCar Scott, and this is my little show about racing I like to call In the Pits. And In the Pits is brought to you each and every week by a generous sponsorship from Monte Carlo Express Delivery. Monte Carlo Express Delivery, serving the courier needs of the Seattle area for over a decade now. Please like us on Facebook. Okay, first off, last week was busy, folks. It was real busy. If you keep up on my Facebook stuff and everything, then you know what was going on. And I tell you, I would not wish that on anyone, including Kurt Busch. But I got back from Alabama, about Halloween night, and ouch, I got a cat with me that I brought from Alabama. This is Daphne. She's my new petite flower here, even though she's 13 years old. But when I got back, I missed the truck race because I flew on Halloween, Friday night, missed it live, and my VCR wouldn't record for some reason on Halloween night or Halloween day, so I didn't even get a copy that way. And then even if I had, my wife told me that the power went out before she came to pick me up at the airport. That probably would have caused me to not get to see the race. So I caught it during the first go round of replays, and that was at like 1 a.m. In the morning. What would that make, a Saturday morning after I'd gotten back. Truck race was at Fort Worth, as was all NASCAR racing this weekend. In fact, all big time racing was in Texas this weekend because F1 was in Austin. And I stayed up and watched the truck race as I was getting my new little kitty here acclimated to Seattle. And we didn't like how it went because Bubba, our favorite driver, his truck blew an engine. And so he didn't even get hardly a little bit past halfway, and that didn't help him in the championship at all and anything like that. So, and the other thing about the truck race that just made it hardly worth watching was the Toad won. Toad won the truck race. So points positions for the truck regulars like Matt Crafton, who's in the lead, and Ryan Blaney and Bubba and Johnny Sauter. Didn't change a whole lot. So they'll go on to their next race there at Phoenix Friday. And from what I'm hearing about Phoenix races, there's going to be some local flavor in there. Tyler Tanner, a guy that runs up at Monroe in their late model series, is going to be at the truck race. And hopefully he'll be running against Taylor Mawsum there. So watch the truck race Friday night. It's going to be some local flavor there. And before we get off the trucks, Johnny Sauter is from a racing family. He and his brothers Jay and Jimmy, they've all raced because their dad raced. And this past weekend, they lost their father. He had brief illness and passed. Jim Sauter was 71. He had a handful of cup starts, and he ran mostly up in the Midwest and the Wisconsin area, a lot of ASA starts, things like that. But racing family, you know, got to make the announcement there. Saturday was a couple of things that I caught early on Saturday was some modified racing. That was on tape delay on Fox Sports 1. And it was their World Series of modified racing there at Thompson Speedway in Connecticut. So they always wind up their season there, and that race was won by number 16, Peace was the name of the fella who won in a Ford modified vehicle there. And the championship was won by a fella named Doug Colby, who I think basically had to maybe just finish, if not just start the race in order to win the championship. But they'll probably show it again sometime here soon. So keep an eye out. It's pretty interesting modified racing. And then also Saturday there was a little bit of Cup practice, which was interesting. Practice always makes you hold out hope that that your guy, my guy, Junior in this case, is going to do well. But that was it. That was it. Then they went to college football. Everything else, the other practices and nationwide qualifying, all that was on that Phantom Sports 2 channel that I haven't been able to find yet. So let me get me a quick drink. A little Sterling. Yeah. And so also on Saturday was qualifying for Formula One there in Austin, Texas, at what they call the Circuit of the Americas. COTO is the initial spell out. And Rosberg, well, for one thing, there were cars missing, folks. A couple of the teams have gone bankrupt. Marussia, after losing their driver there a couple of weeks ago at Japan, and just all sorts of financial problems. They've dropped out, and Caterham has also dropped out. So F1 is kind of tough. I feel for Carl Haas of Stewart Haas Racing when he thinks he's just going to hop right into F1 and not just bleed money for a couple of years, because that's what Marussia and Caterham's been doing for a while. But they didn't show up. They didn't show up to Austin, so qualifying went on without them. They changed qualifying a little bit to accommodate that, but still 3 rounds of qualifying. And Rosberg was fastest in that last round. Hamilton was second, so that's how they started. Massa was third. And we found out during qualifying that Vettel had destroyed yet his 5th engine for the season, and you're only allowed to have 5 for the F1 season. So he had to go to a 6th engine. He's going to have, he would have to start at not just the back, but on pit row. He has to wait until everybody else goes past, and then he gets to start the race from pit row. Oh, come on, kitty. So, Saturday in the afternoon, we watched the nationwide race, which was a 300-mile, 200-lap race there at Texas Fort Worth Speedway. Toad won. I wish it had been different, but that's the way it goes. And he had a whole bunch of other Cup guys in there with him, taking up a bunch of running space and finishing spots there, taking away points from the nationwide guys. The highest nationwide driver that finished was Chase Elliott. I think he finished 4th. And of course, that top 5 really helps him in the point situation, because both Regan Smith and Ty Dillon, his 2 closest competitors, finished outside the top 10. So, that happens when, you have a bunch of Cup guys in there. I think 4th in points, Brian Scott, no relation to StockCar Scott, finished like 6th or something, so he's probably might have moved up in the points, but still Chase is building quite the lead there. He may be able to, with the next race there at Phoenix, be able to clinch the title there for Drivers' Championship for the Nationwide Series. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see what happens. But, you know, folks, I'm getting kind of tired of this Nationwide guys not getting to get the points, and Cup guys coming in and snatching points away from them and stuff. And I think I've mentioned before that I think the solution to this would be to make points ineligible drivers only be able to win a certain number of races before they are no longer able to race in the Nationwide Series or the Truck Series or something like that. I said 3. You know, 3 wins and you're out. Then you got to put somebody in your car, Kyle Busch, like Eric Jones or somebody like that, in order to finish out the season. It would give them experience. You know, NASCAR needs to look at something, and maybe if they hear this one of these days, they'll go, "Oh, 3 and out. That sounds pretty good, and it's easy to remember." So hopefully one of these days they'll put a cap on the number of times that a non-nationwide driver, i.e. a Cup driver like Joey Logano or Matt Kenseth or even Dale Jr., you know, if he was running and winning too much in the Nationwide Series, I wouldn't be, you know, it'd be nice, but it's the Nationwide Series. Once you move out of it, you should be out of it. But anyway, Sunday started with 2 races at the same time. I'll talk a little bit first about F1 there at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, which is a really nice track. It's their 3rd race there. I've seen some other races there on TV with other different types of sports cars like Porsches, and the V8 series from Australia came over and raced there. You know, it's a really nice track. Nico Rosberg starts on pole for the race. Lewis is to his outside, but Lewis gets him. I didn't think they were even halfway through the race before Hamilton was able to get past him, and of course, motor on to his 2nd win there at Texas. He won the 1st race, and then Vettel won the 2nd race, and Hamilton now has the 3rd win there, the 2nd win at the track, 3rd race, and that was his 5th in a row. Yes, he has won the last 5 races, and he has won 10 races this season. So hopefully my favorite F1 driver is well on his way to victory for the championship. But we'll have to see, because Abu Dhabi's got the extra double points thing going on there. Nico Rosberg's trying to keep up with him. He finished 2nd, and Daniel Ricciardo is having a wonderful season for his first go-round with Red Bull, and he finished 3rd. But Hamilton's building up quite the points lead. Mercedes has already won the Constructors' Championship, so these last 2 Grand Prix should still be interesting. There's, like I said, Brazil is next week, and Abu Dhabi with the double points is the last weekend of November. Now, I'll be honest with you, I did not watch this race live. I had it on extra TV, but I couldn't really follow it a whole lot. But I was happy to see my guy Hamilton win, but I watched the whole race along with my new race buddy down here. Watched it yesterday on Monday. Still a great race to watch. So, unfortunately, Cup was at the same time. So I watched the Cup race. And Junior did all right, I guess. He started 12th and finished 6th, I do believe, which was okay. You know, one of the differences between the 2 different races there in Texas, the F1 race, I didn't see an empty seat. I kept its eye as long, during the whole thing, looked around, didn't see an empty seat. On the other hand, the Cup race at Fort Worth, even with their big TV and all that stuff, and all the stuff that happened during the racing, they didn't fill the seats. There were big, big areas where there was nobody sitting. And they did not get to see another eliminated driver go and win a race out from under the chasers there. Yeah, Jimmy Johnson in his Lowe's red vest Chevrolet won the race just like Junior the week before, having been eliminated from the chase. He goes out and wins Martinsville for the first time. Now, the race had a long green stretch in the middle there. It looked like it was going to go pretty quickly, but that long green stretch just set up a lot of cautions that happened towards the end. And, of course, that next to the last caution that was our restart that was brought out by the caution when Clint Boyer spun. I guess he was tired from having run the nationwide race for Elliott Sadler when he substituted for him the day before. But anyway, he spun there towards the end of the race, and this set up what hoped to be the final restart, but turned out not to be. With Jeff on the outside, the old man Jeff Gordon was on the outside of Jimmy Johnson, and Brad was back there behind him, old bad Brad, and Jeff Gordon was giving Jimmy Johnson lots and lots of room, and bad Brad used that lots and lots of room to try to get around Jimmy Johnson, and he kind of had to use up the old man, Jeff Gordon, to do it. In fact, he cut his tires, one of Jeff Gordon's tires, and Jeff Gordon spun and was basically out of the race. Not totally out, but out of winning, out of a big point-scoring day. And then they had the last green-white checker, and Jimmy Johnson was able to get away that time and hold off Harvick and Bad Brad, who finished second and third. And then they all moved to pit row, where the big fight broke out. Yes, now I'm not talking about a couple of weeks ago with Matt Kenseth and Bad Brad. This time it was another champion. Yes, it was Jeff Gordon who was put out with the actions of Brad Keselowski on the track. Now, I tell you folks, in complete honesty and full disclosure, StockCar Scott tells everybody, I like all three of these guys who are involved. I like Bad Brad Keselowski. I like Happy Harvick. And I like Jeff Gordon nowadays. The old man is really coming back and showing me good stuff. It's not like when Darrell Waltrip was a fading champion and still just trying to give rookies a hard time and such. He's out there. Jeff Gordon's out there taking care of business, So yeah, I like all of them. So what happened with them getting into each other and a little shoving and yelling on pit row, that was fun. And I know a couple of people on Facebook did not care for what Happy Harvick did, but I love the push that Happy Harvick gave Bad Brad Keselowski to get him over a little bit closer to Jeff Gordon, maybe so he could hear a little bit better, or so he could get his butt whooping. I don't know, but that was perfect there, Harvick. I really enjoyed that, and what's going to come of it? Well, fines. That's what they announced today. I waited until after I found out what the fines were going to be, and none of the drivers got fined. A couple of the crew chiefs, a couple of Hendricks crew chiefs, for Casey Kane for some reason, and Jeff Gordon's crew chief both got fined. I think a Gordon crew member got fined. But I tell you, just like I said on Facebook, it's sauce for the goose, Mr. Savick. It is just going to make things spice up just that much more for next week when they get to Phoenix. And Kevin finished second, so he is now only 6 points away from the cut there of making the chase, continuing in the chase, I should say. And Keselowski finishing third is only 5 points away from the cut now. All of these drivers, 8 drivers, are still within, I do believe, less than 30 points of each other. And it will be decided next week, folks, who are going to be the final 4 that go to Homestead. Let me see if Daphne will let me show you the chart here. Whoops. Here's the chart. Whoa, boy, that got messed up. Okay, well, we're eliminating people as we go. And over here on the top row, we've got Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin, who has stayed out of trouble, and Ryan Newman, who's really stayed out of trouble, and unfortunately Jeff Gordon, who hasn't been able to stay out of trouble. Let's get him over here like this. And those guys are above the cutoff line. And then we got our 4 guys down here who might be in some sort of trouble for the rest of the season, which is only 1 race for them. We got Kenseth down here, and Edwards, and Bad Brad, and Happy Harvick, who are still in it. They could still move up, especially if they won. And Happy Harvick, Phoenix is a good place for him. Keselowski, it's not a bad place for him either. Edwards, it's a pretty good place for him. So any of these guys down at the bottom could still win this weekend and move on to the championship race there at Homestead. So nothing is in stone. These guys up at the top, they may have a lot of points, but we saw what happened to Kyle Busch at Talladega. He lost enough points to get put right out. So you got to keep watching, folks. 2 more races. Like I said, this weekend's race at Phoenix is just going to be crazy good. Have fun, Thomas Ben Scooter. Yeah, I know you're going to be there amongst that sold-out crowd there in the grandstands, and they'll probably sell a bunch more tickets for Rattlesnake Hill there, because looks like you can see some really good views there. I've been to Phoenix before. It is a really, really nice track. Looks like you can see most of the track from just about anywhere. And since they reconfigured the back of it to fix that dog leg back there a little bit more, makes for some really good racing, folks. It's going to be really good. And like I say, there are 8 drivers right now that could still be in the championship. But come Sunday evening after Phoenix, there's only going to be 4. And we'll find out who those 4 will be on Sunday. Until then, keep watching racing. We got a little bit more racing to go. 2 races of the trucks, Phoenix and Homestead. 2 races of Nationwide, the last 2 Nationwide races ever. Next year it'll be sponsored by a cable TV company. So Nationwide race at Phoenix this weekend, where Chase Elliott could maybe clinch. Also another race for them at Homestead. 2 more Cup races in the same place, folks, and both of them are going to be something to watch with this new chase format. And 2 more F1 races until they crown Lewis Hamilton Championship. Next week's race at Brazil, and the weekend after at Abu Dhabi, excuse me, the last weekend of November, which will be at Abu Dhabi for the extra points race, double points race. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad you folks are still watching. I sure do appreciate it. And with all the things that are happening in my life lately, it's really nice to still be able to get here and do the show and give myself a little off time from all that other stuff that happens in my life, you know. But continue to watch on Facebook. I'll get this up as watch on, YouTube. And like I said, I'll get this up on Facebook just as quickly as I can. Until then, folks, you know, won't see you out the racetrack for a while yet to come till next year sometime. But you'll see me here, and I'll be watching racing because that's what I do. Thank you, folks. Until next week, bye.